Hey everybody. So this is going to be a quick video on finding X-intercepts. Now I only took two different examples because I didn't want to get too in-depth. I didn't want the video to be too long. But I have two examples of types of equations you might see in Algebra 1 or in math where your teacher might ask you or a test might ask you what's the X-intercept. And so I figured I'd go over in both cases, both with just a linear function like this, a linear equation. How do I find the x-intercept? And then also with a quadratic, which we'll see on the next slide. And we won't go too in detail with the quadratic, but I just kind of wanted to kind of really highlight finding the x-intercept. So here we have in slope-intercept form, we have an equation y equals x plus 2. So right away we should know that in slope-intercept form we have our slope, which is 1, right? That's our m. And then we have our 2, which is our y-intercept, right? Y equals mx plus b. So we should be able to graph, okay, so our y-intercept is 2. That's easy. In slope-intercept form, they make y-intercept extremely easy because it's part of the equation. Now what's a little bit more difficult is if we needed to find our x-intercept. It's a little bit backwards from what you might think it is, but in order to find the x-intercept, you set your y equal to 0. So to find x-intercept, set y equal to 0. Okay? So what I mean by that, in your equation, instead of that y, you write 0. So now we have 0 equals x plus 2. Well, if I wanted to get my x by itself, I have to do the opposite of that plus 2 to move it to the other side. So the opposite of plus 2 is the minus 2. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. And that means that I'm going to get that my x value is negative 2. So I just solved for my x-intercept. My x-intercept, that was sloppy. My x-intercept is negative 2. Like I said in the graphing video, in order to have a line, all you need is 2 points. Once you have 2 points, let's see how well I can do this, you have your line. Okay, so that's how to find the x-intercept in a linear graph. In order to find it in a quadratic. Now, I'm not going to go into super detail. I'm going to do this pretty quickly because I just want to kind of, really all I'm talking about is the x-intercepts. So just like in the linear formula, or in the linear graph, with the quadratic graph, you do the same thing. You set y equal to 0. Okay, so over here, we set our y equal to 0. Everything else is the same. Now, in order to get this and solve this, you're going to have to factor. So you're going to get x plus 3, x minus 2 equals 0. Remember, I'm just going over this really fast so we can just understand the x-intercepts. You set each one of those parentheses equal to 0 because if one of them is 0, they're both going to be 0 because 0 times anything is 0. Okay, we subtract the 3. So we know that 1 is x equals negative 3. We add the 2. So we know that x equals positive 2. So if I were to come in, let's make this colorful here. We're going to say the x equals negative 3. So 1, 2, 3. And we'll do, say, purple, x equals 2. So 1, 2. We know it's a positive graph because our a is positive. Like I said, I'm not going into crazy detail on this. So we know that our parabola is going to look something like that, where it's a positive graph. We know our x-intercepts are at negative 3 and positive 2. And a lot of the times, the good thing is if you understand the x-intercepts, the y-intercepts, and how to find those, if you have a multiple choice, like a standardized test, a lot of the time, just by knowing your x-intercepts and your y-intercepts, you'll be able to find your correct answer. Okay, so hopefully this video kind of clarified a little bit on the x-intercepts. There's also a video on y-intercepts, so if you need help with that one, there will be a video on the page for that one also. If you still don't understand the graphs, there's going to be a video on how to understand a graph, and hopefully all this stuff will kind of come together to help you understand math and make you a little bit more confident when you're in class. So thank you.